I think it's time for Plan B.
From the global headquarters and the strategic compound of the Soldiers of Fortune, powered by 700,000 watts of wisdom, fused with the next level intelligence, set all systems on DEFCON 1. This is the Vince Wild Program.
I got it. Love it.
Yes. And welcome to the Vince Wild Show. We are on Spreaker.com, and it is a beautiful day here at Schizophrenic Studios on the 37th floor of the Fury Media Inc. headquarters. Welcome. Gee, I hope the summer's being good to you. No, I mean that. It's been interesting. Yesterday, my wife's dog passed away. Jules, Black Lab. Still not sure how old she was. I think 10. I think. It's really hard to determine because nobody seems to have a clear record. Like, some people are unscrupulous with this. They get out what do they call it? A scrapbook. And they put a scrapbook together. And this is when we got Fluffy. And this is the time that Fluffy first, chased a squirrel. And this is the time we accidentally put Fluffy in the spin cycle. Oops, we didn't know she was in there. I mean, everything is in a book. And then there are some people that are just happy to have a pet and don't really record anything. I think that my wife's family falls into the second category. They got plenty of pictures. Don't get me wrong. Loved this dog. Just nobody can remember exactly when it was exactly we got it. And I gotta be honest, I don't really know when it was we got our cat. I mean, I have an idea. We definitely don't know how old the cat is. And so we're just trying to, remember remembering birthdays. Does anybody actually have a birthday party for their animals? I know that they got to be out there. There's probably even a TV show about animals and their birthdays and the crazy things people do for an animal's birthday. Find that. Find that show. I want to know if that exists. Or you can email me if you know of such a show. VinceWildShow@gmail.com. And that would be a good time to let you know that the website address is vincewild.com. WYLDE.com. And follow me on Twitter, Vince Wild Show. And there's a page on Facebook, I guess, but we're really lousy marketers. We haven't been using it to its potential. But it is there, the Vince Wild Show. And to answer an email I recently got, no, there is not a Cowboy Chris fan page. We just haven't put it together. I don't know. And another question, will Cowboy Chris ever make an appearance on your show? It's funny. He's a natural in front of the camera. If you point a camera at him, he's not one of these people that crawls under the deck and says, "Oh my God, my hair isn't done. Don't put me on camera." He's very quick to respond, like if you're talking to him behind the camera. But he's expressed zero interest on being on radio. He has a face for it, though. I'm just kidding. Anyway, welcome to the show. As you can see by the interesting title, we have some very interesting topics picked out today, and if I don't go too ADD, I might actually stick to them. This show is trying to be a little more lighthearted these days. We're trying to take things less seriously, but, it's all dictated by what we're exactly able to accomplish. Exactly. What? Yeah, that. So now I'm sounding like, what's his name, Doogie Howser on the Heineken commercials. But anyway, El Nino is coming to judge us all. Windows 10 is spying on everything you do if they deem that you're a threat. And celebrity sightings on Twitter regarding the Vince Wild show, which is interesting. I got some news on that. We'll have to talk about that as well. As usual, it is about 82 degrees in the Schizophrenic Studios, and no air conditioning because nobody ever connected the air conditioning in this damn building. So, as you can imagine, I'm a little uncomfortable, but we'll get through it. The times are tough, but we'll get through it. All right, well, you call up VinceWild.com. I guess there's a Godzilla-sized El Nino going to hit the Southlands this winter. And it's going to bring all kinds of much-needed rain, and it's going to create wonderful weather situations that we're all so excited to have. But it's also going to cause an excess of snow, because we didn't get enough last year. No. More snow this year. And damn it, if I have to put up with El Nino, I want a white Christmas. And not from nuclear fallout. Side note, no more panic crap for me. Thank you. Everybody's panicked. Well, not everybody. There's a lot of people panicked. Everybody's trying to call the stock market crash now. Why aren't more people hanging themselves with their own underpants? I don't understand. If you really believe that it's all going to end this way, why do you sit there and predict it? Wouldn't you live your life to the fullest until the moment where you have to completely change direction? You know, prepare, but don't be panicky about it. So there will be no InfoWars Glenn Beck panic stuff on this show. I'll leave that to the experts or the lack of experts or whatever. The people that have the market cornered on panicking. And I'll stick to El Nino. So I don't know. I guess excess snow is in the works. But I'm not even sure. I mean, Massachusetts and Buffalo got nailed last year. I mean, there was enough snow that they probably still have some stored left over. And then the summer, I mean, in a lot of places, summer hasn't even happened yet. The temperatures have stayed cool, which tells me, oh, great. I can't wait. You know, we're gonna get just douched with snow. And if you don't have a snowblower, why? By the way, I'm addressing you, Cowboy Chris. He doesn't have a snowblower. Heart attack victim does not have a snowblower. He goes out and he shovels. Got 3 stints. Goes out and he shovels. While licking salt. I made the last part up. But you get my point. If you're not investing in a snowblower with the news that I just released on this show, forget it. There's no hope for you. You know, might as well just prepare to get snowed in permanently. I really hope that they're wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time meteorologists have tried to call it and have the opposite effect happen. I mean, how do we know that the temperatures just won't be too mild for snow? And there's a lot of people that hate that. You know, oh, I want to go skiing. I want to make snow angels. Grow up. You're 52. But there are people that really enjoy the snow. And I got to admit, I love a white Christmas. But after Christmas, I'd be totally happy if I didn't see snow again. Ever. Again. Until next Christmas. And it can snow on Christmas Eve, produce about 6 to 12 inches, and then stop. And not snow the rest of that year or the following year, which I am totally aware comes pretty much 5 days later. But it doesn't happen that way. Maybe it does in heaven. Maybe we get lucky and it snows on Christmas in heaven. God, I don't know what you're thinking. Christmas, I mean, that's a human thing. But so that's in our future. Oh, great. And I want to point out I didn't need a psychic for that because we got meteorologists. They're full of bad news. So we also have a few stories. I've been binge watching Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay. And I posted on Twitter this week, if people are saying, oh, Gordon Ramsay's a jerk, and we're going to talk about Gordon Ramsay a little bit today. I got to talk about this show. Gordon Ramsay's a jerk. Well, then they're not paying attention. They see that hard-edged, very, he uses rather colorful language. I don't want to say vulgar. I think it's just silly language, but, vulgarities, I guess. Oh, he's swearing. My goodness, what do we do? And by the way, London, why are we bleeping the F-bomb? You're not bleeping the S-bomb, but for some reason, how does that even work? Bleeping the F-bomb. I don't get that at all. Well, it's just a little bit too offensive. Really? Okay. I don't know. We'll get to Gordon Ramsay talking in a little bit. New heavy metal band called Oakley Dokley, inspired by Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Now, this is an interesting story. Evidently, this band all dresses in the green sweater with the red collar, and all of their lyrics, or the majority of their lyrics, are comprised from things Ned Flanders actually said on the show. Well, thank God for that. I was just beginning to think music had gotten too silly, with Meghan Trainor rolling around out there. But now we've got the all Ned Flanders band. The most brilliant metal music in the world comes from Finland. And Americans couldn't snub it harder. It's unbelievable. If you start exploring Finnish bands, you've got everything from bands that use full-blown orchestras to bands that play a blend of folk music and heavy metal to bands that do gothic stuff. I mean, it's across the board, and to say that it's not artistry is just ignorant. But this, and Oakley is they highlight kill in Oakley Dokley, so the kill is in both words. So of course you're trying to have that metal edge. I don't see Ned Flanders putting together a heavy metal band. Maybe it's just me. I could be wrong here. I could be way off base. But Ned Flanders? Heavy metal? Yeah, not so much. I don't know. We posted a few videos. Also, I want to point out on the website, there's some things that post on my website that I actually don't personally post. They come from If This Then That. Based on a feed that I've connected to my account because they're interesting articles. I am not one of these doomsday prepper guys that thinks, oh my God, build a bunker, we're all going to die. But I do believe in being prepared. Having a first aid kit, having maybe a change of clothes, that sort of thing. Something to start a fire with. But some of these guys, they plan to, gravitate towards the local, national forest in their neighborhood and perform military operations, and I'm not that guy. I believe in being prepared. I believe in knowing how to grow things, how to take care of yourself in a complete economic catastrophe, because I think sooner or later it is going to happen. But I'm not the guy that's ready to practice military strategies on my weekend off, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, these people are preparing for a complete Mad Max scenario. Beyond the Thunderdome, Mel Gibson. You telling me you've never seen that? I haven't either. But I think I've actually seen it once, but it's been ages. But some stuff posts from ITS Tactical, which is a website, Imminent Threat Solutions. Thank you. I knew the acronym. Imminent Threat Solutions is a little bit more level-headed in there. Articles. It's not all, oh my God, the zombie apocalypse crap. They're actually posting useful information so that you can have what they call a bug-out bag. Nothing wrong with a bug-out bag. It's simply a bag that has, in case of emergency items, and you're supposed to keep it in your car, unless you're Amish, in which case you throw it on the back of your buggy. But in either case, the Amish are already prepared anyway. They probably won't even notice anything happened, unless people start rioting and looting Amish communities. And by the way, if you riot and loot at an Amish community, I think it's a direct ticket straight to hell, and not because the Amish are devoutly religious, but because they're the Amish. It's kind of like kicking a kitten down a flight of stairs. What's the point? So they've posted some interesting articles that are worth a look. I mean, and we had some events. Ferguson had issues this week. I was posting a few things about that. And this story, Windows 10 has you under 24-hour surveillance. Wow. Basically, the wording says in their new contract, which is, I think somebody told me it's 12,000. Yeah, it's 12,000 words. It's a 12,000 word service agreement. And the article said, but they have to be 12,000 words because people always find loopholes. And so you got to make this really long agreement that has everything tied up. You know, if we didn't have any lawyers, yeah, we wouldn't have these service agreements, but we also wouldn't have people that had any clue how to pervert the law into their favor. So we needed 12,000 word service agreements. Just want to point that out. But evidently, if they detect activity that they believe may send up a yellow flag, and they, find that they may have to cooperate with law enforcement, the home of Homeland Security, National Security, whatever, NSA, they have all these things operating in the background of Windows where they basically, it's a keylogger. Everything you type, every website you go to. Now, there's a way to shut it off. There's a link on vincewild.com. If you click that article, it'll take you to a link to show you how to shut off Windows 10. My advice, don't get Windows 10. Windows screws everything up. They bought Skype. That doesn't run the way it used to anymore. I have a few interviews scheduled to happen. I hope I don't look silly because I use Skype, and personally, I think it's going to end in disaster. Because Skype just keeps keeps disconnecting. So don't get Windows 10. Just don't. Go back to Linux, I guess. I don't know anything about Linux, but at this point, I don't think I'm all about Windows 10 either.
Patterns of our society are being disrupted.
Raising to a new level.
It's Wild Show.
David Lightman was a master at computer games. A fast thinker.
Oh, David! Maybe you could tell us who first suggested the idea of reproduction without sex.
Your wife?
Get out, Lightning.
And a promising student at an old game.
Hi.
With an electronic twist.
Are those your grades?
Yeah. I don't think that I deserved an F. Do you?
You can go to jail for that.
Only if you're over 18. This computer company is coming out with these amazing new games in a couple of months. And I want to play those games. Wow.
What?
We got something.
He found the right code word to play the game.
We're in.
But it was the wrong computer.
Shall we play a game?
How can I ask you that?
How about global thermonuclear war?
Fine.
All right. What the hell? They're trajectory headings for multiple impact re-entry vehicles.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's great.
All stations, this is Crystal Palace.
I wonder if I should use my subs.
22 Typhoon-class submarines departing Petropavlovsk.
What in the hell's happening here?
Oh my god.
Shall we play?
I have 7, correction, 8. That's 8 Redbirds. Get on the sack. Get on to flush the bombers.
Russians are still denying everything, sir.
Who are you working with?
Nobody.
Why don't I believe you?
Today we have Soviet missile warning.
Placed under arrest pending indictment for espionage.
Espionage?
Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high.
Cobra Dane, is this an exercise?
Negative, this is not an exercise.
Made the president on the horn.
It's still playing the game. It's gonna start a war.
Close up the mouth.
Is this a game or is it real?
War games. Playing soon. At a theater near you.
Shall we play?
The future of America is Vince Wild Show.
I
trusted the priest. I fell to his feet, and he raised me up there, then cut me off at the knee. I trusted the Lord, they didn't help me at all. I wound up black, blue, screwed in the back of his car. I don't wanna wake up alone. I need you to hear me now. I don't wanna do it alone. I need you here with me now. I don't wanna wait for your love. I need you to save me now.
Oh yeah. Billy frickin' Idol, baby. Save Me Now. Off of his new CD, Kings and Queens of the Underground. I gotta say, after the 80s are long gone, but he's still able to put it together. I love that album. That album from start to finish is a great record. Listen to me talking like it's the 80s. You gotta check out this new record. And the CD came out during the 80s. People forget that. And now the CD, which we thought was great technology during the 80s, got antiquated by MP3s. And now it's the never-ending battle about file sharing. Which, I feel two ways about file sharing. I think bands could definitely use it, and some bands do use it, to push their product out there, But, I don't know. I guess you can't win for losing. All right, so Kitchen Nightmares. Now, obviously, this show's been out for a while, and you know me, I'm behind the 8 ball. I've always been a fan of Gordon Ramsay. I've been a fan of his for years. I've got Hell's Kitchen on DVD. I gotta binge watch that again. But I've been into Kitchen Nightmares, and it's because I've worked in the restaurant industry, and I know that this crap goes on. And I've picked up on some things on the show that just blow my mind, that I can't understand why it is these guys, they know who Gordon Ramsay is. They've seen the shows. They know he's not a soft-spoken, give everybody a hug and pat on the back type of guy. When it comes to the restaurant industry, he's hell's fire. He's a professional. He expects professional standards. He expects professional results. And he won't accept anything less than that. But the thing is, and maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but let's say I'm working for a diner, and we decide that this place could get a lot more business. We're in the red every month. Let's submit it to Kitchen Nightmares. Let's see if we can get Chef Ramsay. If my opinion of Chef Ramsay is anything less than this guy it's gonna be like having a drill sergeant in our kitchen trying to fix stuff, then you have no business calling the guy. Because that's what he does. He's like a Marine Corps drill sergeant except for food. He comes down and he tries to challenge you the way a drill sergeant does. Nose to nose, face to face. What are you bloody doing? I know that's not the proper British accent, but you get my point. And then you've got these dipstick, restaurateurs that are like, Chef Ramsay ain't going to talk to me like that. I'll kick his ass. Oh, really, tough guy? Really? Have you seen this guy's show? He's not afraid of anybody. He doesn't back down. I don't care if you're a Hell's Angel. He doesn't care. And then he shows up and he's like, hey, you got to change all this. You've got to start making decisions. You got to keep things clean. You've got to simplify your menu. I don't know how many of these guys have a way overcomplicated menu. I watched an episode the other night. Sebastian's Pizzeria. the guy's a pizzeria, and his focus is on this, like, ridiculous menu that had 20 different food combinations on it. And nobody could follow it. And the chef, he's like, you got to keep it simple. And how are you running a pizzeria and when you do make pizza, it's with frozen pizza dough? And this guy was ready to close the doors of the restaurant. What did you think you were getting into when you called the guy, dummy? Oh, well, he's going to show up and he's just going to give me a hug and tell me I'll just throw some money at it and make it all better. No, he's going to change the way you think. He's going to come in and say, he's going to look at every little thing you're doing, and he's going to pick apart every little thing you're doing, and you have got to call this guy expecting he is going to completely change my restaurant. Not just the menu, not just, my accounting, everything. He might gut the look. He's going to change my attitude, and that's always the toughest part of every one of these shows. People are fine with him coming up with new decor, maybe some new menu items, but then when he gets into their face and tries to change their attitude, well, now let's go. It's WWE at Sebastian's. Come on, you got to know who the guy is. It's not like you haven't heard of Gordon Ramsay. Now I've worked because people think a lot of these shows are set up. And I want to dispel that right now. I know nothing about how Kitchen Nightmares is put together, but what I do know is that Kitchen Nightmares represents the restaurant industry, a portion of the restaurant industry, very well. I have worked for diners, restaurants, you name it, that one of their favorite moves, because they think it saves time and money, is they'll put together a casserole that they'll serve at dinner time. They'll make enough to feed 150 people, knowing that they'll probably only sell a few orders of it. Then they put it in the fridge, covered, dated if you're lucky. And then when somebody orders it, they pull it out, put it on the plate, stick it in a microwave. To some people, it's like, so what's wrong with that? But people that are foodies are going to be like, oh my God, tell me that is not running rampant. No, trust me, it is. Anybody worth their salt in the cooking industry will never do that. And I'm not talking about McDonald's or Burger King or anything. They've all got microwaves. And they are absolutely reheating their product. But you're talking about fast food versus fine dining or pubs or bistros. When you go to a bistro and you're sitting down and you're ordering a meal that's $12, $13 a plate, you want something a little bit better than tossed in a microwave. And I'm here to tell you, as an eyewitness, they're not just doing that. They're not changing their fry oil. Sometimes they get a brilliant cook in the kitchen. Sometimes he's schooled. Sometimes he's not. And they don't let him blossom. Make these 16 dishes only. And trust, these cooks, they come up with ideas. They bring them in, they show them to the owner, and the owner shoots them down one at a time. There are some owners that could have put themselves on the map in a really big way if they had let the cook spread his wings. But they're so business-minded. And even in that, if you watch Kitchen Nightmares, they're failing miserably. They're so business-minded, but they're in the red every month. And then here's another maneuver. Now, if you've ever worked at a Burger King or McDonald's, you know that your product comes in shipped from an outside wholesaler in large boxes, like the fries are in these big, 10-pound bags. And they come in, you check off a list, and you get stocked for the week. And then you rotate the items in your fridge so that the old stuff is up front and the new stuff is in the back. Okay? I can't tell you how many diners, small establishments, don't get this right. It's like the fridge is the last thing on their mind. And then their food quality completely suffers from it. So they have absolutely no idea why it is that their business is so bad. And then they price themselves out of the market. Here's another one. They're not buying from a wholesaler in a lot of these small restaurants. Mom and pop places. A lot of these places are going grocery shopping. Well, you can't keep your food prices at a reasonable level if you're paying what everybody else pays to put in their own fridge. They might as well stay home. What's the point in eating at your place? It is cheaper to eat at home. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is same quality, same price. You're not offering anything different. Bland menu items. Might as well stay home. I wanted to correct myself there. I realized after I said that, like, well, you know, it's the whole experience of eating out. It's not just cooking for yourself at home, but you buy from a wholesaler because you're going to pay less. I think Chef Ramsay said on one of his shows, like 30% difference. That's huge. I know a guy personally right now. He does not do this. He goes out and does a shopping trip at least once a week. I don't understand it, man. Why wouldn't you go through a wholesaler? But the point is that this stuff is absolutely going on, without question. You know, restaurateurs, some are professional, but you've seen some of these places are really professional looking. Sebastian's already had a professional look. They look like, you know, it wasn't like a hole-in-the-wall diner. It was like a restaurant. That's the other thing I like. Chef helps out the mom-and-pop hole-in-the-wall diners, Chef Ramsay. He's been to those places, and he's transformed them from a place that people might eat at if there's nothing else to an absolute must-see destination. And sometimes I cheat when I'm watching the show. I'll go Google the restaurant and find out if it's still in business. So I know whether or not he was successful. But it seems like every episode, the owner is just stubborn about something. Well, you know, I'm not giving up the deep-fried mollusk pumpkin bisque souffle oyster soup. And Chef Ramsay's just like, really? That's an item on your menu? It's okay to be innovative, but if you're trying something on the public and they're not responding, but you're keeping it there just because you think, and in theory, it's a great idea, you're not doing yourself any favor.
I think it's a huge embarrassment.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Adam Richman. You are listening to The Vince Wild Show, which means you have excellent taste.
There's dancing behind movie scenes, behind the movie scene. Sadie Rani, she's the one that keeps the dream alive. From the morning past the evening to the end of the light. Graham Food Asher on the 45. Well, it's a Graham Food Asher on the 45.
Norman Cook, a.k.a. Fatboy Slim. Originally done by Corner Shop. They're from India. Rumor has it when this single hit as big as it did, the band wasn't that thrilled because they really never wanted to be a international multi-platinum act. Now, for those of you that aren't artistes and don't understand that, like, it's all about the record deal. For some people, it's not all about the record deal. Some people just want to be artists with their music. And if you want something different, if you want to listen to something that is truly unique and not the same old garbage that the local pop and rock stations play over and over and over again, I suggest you check out Corner Shop. Not too many of you. We don't want to get them famous. So let's see. Out of the group I'm looking at, 10% of you check out Corner Shop. I realize when I say that, like, well, if they catch on fire, then they might split up because they legitimately don't want to be huge. So we were talking about kitchen nightmares and restaurants and some of the things restaurants do that I've witnessed from working in the restaurant industry that just doesn't make any sense. And kitchen nightmares. And Chef Ramsay's got a new series coming out. And doggone it, I don't remember what it's called. But I will find out, and I will post it after the show on the website so you can check it out, because he does have a new show. He's also got cooking ideas on YouTube. And unlike some chefs who shall remain nameless, who put out numerous cooking books that always throw in some ingredient that you just can't get, like, then you must get blessed tears from a dragon. Not ingredients like that, but ingredients that it's like... finished dates. It's like, who has finished dates at the local supermarket? And I don't even know if there are finished dates. And no, they're not, obviously, because Finland is cold and dates are a warm climate item. But you get the point. It's like the ingredients they put on: dewdrop from an untouched melon in the lands of Pandora. Great. I mean, that's a little extreme, but sometimes there are ingredients in these cookbooks, and you look everywhere. Here's an ingredient that is pretty common. Good luck finding it, at least where I live. It's a very common ingredient. And this, when you're writing a cookbook, keep this in mind. I live in the rural areas of Indiana. Try finding curry powder. Good luck. Apparently, nobody in this area likes Asian cuisine. Or Indian, because there is no curry powder to be had, period. If you want curry powder, you better grow some curry in your greenhouse, which you're more likely to find in the rural areas of Indiana than you are to find curry powder. And I'm almost out of curry powder. I randomly found one in literally a random bin of seasoning that they just threw in at Walmart. And of course, apparently me and 5,000 other people went after the curry powder because we can never find it. So in a day, it was gone. And I wanted to stock up at $1 a piece for curry powder. I mean, you get it from McCormick and it's like $3 to $5. Actually, that's probably cheap. I think it's $8. Anyway, so if you've never checked out Kitchen Nightmares, I will warn you, BBC does not bleep. Does not. Wow. And the answer is bleat. Sorry. Does not bleep the S-bomb. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll watch it with my children, don't. Watch it after your DVR it, whatever, after the children have gone to bed, because the S-bomb is not dropped out. For the rest of us, it makes never mind. Because it's about what's happening on the show. The part of the show that I like the most is when he shows compassion. They kind of lead you to believe on the BBC that there is no compassion in this man. He is mostly hard-edged. But when somebody's hurting emotionally because of their failure, he's more compassionate than you would think. Coming from a guy of that kind of caliber. Just mind-blowing. Now here's the pièce de résistance, or however you say it. That French pièce de résistance. Does that even mean anything? I probably have that totally wrong. I can't speak French, so forgive me if I just said it's a piece of the resistance. That's not what I meant. But you know what I mean. This is the crown of the show, where I reveal to you this week, and this is probably where this talk has been leading all the time, because it's been on my mind. It was kind of overshadowed by the death of my wife's dog yesterday, but it happened, and it was exciting. Obviously, you all know that Adam Richmond and I are friendly. Well, yesterday, and if you understand Twitter, you'll realize how amazing it is. Yesterday, Gordon Ramsay started following me on Twitter. I also have Goodwin. I can't think of his first name, from Ghost Adventures. He follows me on Twitter. Will I get him on the show? Very good question. I don't feel like I'm in his league at all. But I've heard that when he's not on the restaurant floor and he's just talking to people, he's actually the most friendly guy, and he's very kind, and so I shouldn't be intimidated by him. The fact that he's following me, it's an honor. I'll try to handle it carefully. I think Adam Richman is happy with our friendship. I certainly don't. A lot of podcasters, you know, the first time they get a celebrity, they're like JoJo the Indian Circus Boy. They just go nuts. Oh, my God. You know, so-and-so is following me. Holy crap. And they're tweeting them every hour on the hour to say, hey, I'm still here. It's cool that you're following me. They know they're following you. You pop up in their timeline. That happens. So my advice, when you get your first celebrity, don't let your head explode. But this was big for Twitter because celebrities on Twitter don't follow people unless they really think it's a worthwhile endeavor to follow that person. Because there's a lot of fans that just write nothing. Oh, today I used the toilet. Good for you. Nobody cares. Today I threw up 6 times because I ate some bad food last night. Nobody cares about that either. You know, oh my God, Jensen Ackles, he's so hot. Nobody cares. Sadly. But I'm a Supernatural fan. I certainly don't care that you think Jensen Ackles is hot. He does nothing for me, let me tell you that. So, they pick and choose. And yes, before the question comes, I know it's Gordon Ramsay. It's his verified account. I'd love to do an interview with him, obviously. I'd love to just pick his brain about cooking and so forth. Maybe throw a few restaurants under the bus that really need his help. But we'll see. I do have an interview coming up. I don't know how many of you remember Christian rockers Grammatrain. They were a grunge act. Came out in Grammatrain. They were out of the 90s. Extraordinarily talented. Put out 3 albums. 2 during the 90s and then 1 a few years ago. Paul Rohraback. He's the drummer. And he's got a new solo effort coming out under the name PJ Bostic. He will be on the Vince Wild Show. And we'll talk to him a little bit about his musical journey. What he's been doing since Grammatrain. What he's been doing in his everyday life, and we'll just, he said no topic is off limits, so we'll get into the nitty-gritty and find out what happened to Grammatrain, because they were on a lot of compilations when they first came out. They seemed like they were going to hit big and be a long-term success, but they had the talent, they had the grit, but unfortunately, they did not stick around. And sometimes that happens in music, you know, acts just, you know, go supernova. They were a great band, though, and I still listen to them. You should check them out, too. They've, it's, you know, people hear Christian music and they immediately get that taste in them. Oh, God, Jesus music. What the heck? I think you'll find that Grammatrain, if I hadn't just told you that about them, you would probably not be able to identify them directly. Unless you yourself were a Christian, then you might pick up on it. If you know what I mean. I should ask him about crossover success, too. But anyway, I think that's going to be the show for today. I know, it happens quick, you know. We do our show, and Cowboy Chris just got out of the shower on the first floor of the Schizophrenic Studios. Actually, the Fury Media. I don't know what he's doing down there. He's going to the rodeo again tonight, so we'll find out. But Cowboy Chris, still around. And everybody was hurting yesterday. So if you say a prayer, if you're a praying type of person, pray for my family. Because losing a dog, it's like losing a kid for some people. And that doesn't devalue children. I think it just shows how valuable animals truly are. All right, the website, vincewild.com. The Twitter feed is at Vince Wild Show, and you can email us vincewildshow@gmail.com. That is today's show. We leave you with Placebo, Daddy Cool. It's a Boney M cover on the Vince Wild Show. See you later.